I've never seen one.
I've only seen one.
Yeah, Kyle claims this, and I find that unbelievably hard to believe. I've seen easily a dozen in my life, easily. And in person,
I'd say,
in person.
I'd say half.
Like I've walked by probably a dozen or so.
Saw the one. Saw the one. That's it.
How many have you seen?
Me?
Yeah.
I couldn't even put a number on it.
He does shows.
What are you fucking playing Baldur's Gate 3? Where are you seeing all these little people?
Like kicking off the front.
He sees more people than us.
There was one time I was in it was either Bozeman or Billings or Butte, Montana, one of the B's. And there was a table filled with little folks right in the front row. And I started about 5 minutes in, and then I was like, listen, I gotta address the tiny I mean, a table? And it was crazy. At one point after the show, I was sitting down at a table with some friends, and a dude walked over and kind of climbed up a chair, stood on the table, and walked across the table to me. I'm like, this isn't real life right now. Is this real life? Is this happening? And he just sat down in front of me, and I was like, we had a couple beers. But yeah, I travel a lot though, dude. I travel a lot. But he's got to be at least 100, at least.
Yeah, maybe I got 30 because I may have walked by a table and been like, that's just a table of people, and I'm not gonna think about this or remember this or look at it. Just a table.
No, if I'd
just a table of people.
I'm telling you, if I lay eyes on one, it's
halfling
a moment.
Halfling. Yeah, dude, they love it when you go, young Master Frodo. Yeah, they love that. Marianoc Brandybuck and Peregrine Took. They love that.
Like when you pick them up to talk to them.
Brad
Baldur's Gate, you'd have less mobility.
Brad Williams, who's an incredibly funny comic, right? You guys know Brad?
Oh, I think
I've seen him.
Williams.
Brad talks about how he's pretty sure Dinklage is the king of the group.
The little folk.
Yeah, and that everybody kind of acknowledges that. And I was like, huh, I guess. I mean, if you had to anoint one of the little people king, I guess Dinklage.
It used to be Mickey from Seinfeld. That guy. I felt like he was the one I knew the best. Yeah. Oh no, never mind. It's the one that's in all the fantasy stuff. He's that did the Star Wars. He's the
Warwick Davis.
Warwick Davis. Yeah.
Yeah, that guy. He
does that super funny show with Carl Pilkington.
Yeah,
that's a good.
I hate the parts where they put him in it though.
I didn't know that it's
like those seasons.
I didn't know that they're doing
lean into being ridiculous, you little fuck. Don't act like you're talented.
They're doing that Snow White 7 companions thing. And Peter Dinklage was by the way, Dinklage. I feel like if I were a little person, I would be like changing my name to Donklage. Like I'm not gonna be a Dinklage. Dinklage sounds like a little person's name, you know. I feel Peter Donklage. I think I'd switch it up.
It plays in. I like it.
I also bet that Dinklage. I mean, I don't know if it's true. Like, I wonder proportion dick wise, if because they're muscular dudes generally. I wonder if proportion dick wise what we're talking about. I bet
it depends because Peter Dinklage is a dwarf, which means that his head is a normal sized head.
Yeah,
and his torso and everything else is smaller, and so Brad I imagine he has a normal sized penis.
Yeah, Brad had a bit where he said that like like a 6 inches isn't a big dick at all, but like it's an average sized dick. It's doing pretty good, but not really. It's not good. It's just a. But he's like my dick 6 inches and it hangs down to my knees. Like I made a halfling in Baldur's Gate 3 and he's got a circumcised dick and the dick's there and I'm like, well, that's my cock, but it's on a halfling.
Yeah.
It looks terrible on me.
I've got a rock gnome
shoulder proportion like a Dorito, like a V with his back.
I bet my rock gnome lady would love your circumcised halfling man.
It's the only thing he does is like, I don't even fight people. I keep saying this is the Star Trek game I've always wanted Because I just walk up to like goblin camps and I'm like circumcised dick out. I'm like, I'm just here to talk. I'm just here to talk. Like I'm there alone. You know, I play the bongos by the fire at night. This game's phenomenal. It's Dungeons and Dragons basically, but in a video game.
Yep.
And the things you could do are you've never had such a sandbox with limitless options or things to do. You know?
Yeah, it's pretty insane.
About Peter Dinklage, that like Snow White and the Seven Companions, which is fucking retarded sounding.
Yeah.
Like him coming out and saying like, I can't believe they're still using dwarves in these sorts of roles. And it's like that's unbelievably shitty to do to other dwarf actors.
Wait, I thought he was.
He's already got Game of Thrones
I thought he
money.
said
He's
that.
Established. He said that.
I thought he was on the. I thought he was like, why didn't they do 7 dwarves and cast 7 dwarves? Why are they doing 7 companions? Because they're doing like, I think that's what it is. And I thought, and it was pretty interesting. If are you looking it up?
I'm looking at
Taylor knows I'm always on a hot streak of being wrong.
Yeah,
he said, literally, no offense to anything, but I was sort of taken aback. He said, they were very proud to cast a Latino actress as Snow White, but you're still telling me the story of Snow White and the 7 dwarves. Take a step back and look at what you're doing here. It makes no sense to me. You're progressive in one way, but you're still making that fucking backward story about 7 dwarves living in a cave together. Have I done nothing to advance the cause from my
they didn't live in the cave.
I guess I'm not loud enough. Yeah,
They lived in that bitch in the house. They worked in the cave. It was a mine, not a cave.
And how about this? Not every dwarf is getting the same amount of work as you, Dinklage.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I thought he was saying, why didn't they cast 7 dwarves? You got 7 companions. What about 7 dwarves? And I was like, come on, bro. You, the one guy in the last 20 years, you're gonna act like there's 6 other options out there. You killed the game, Peter. You killed it for everyone.
It's like, hey, I'm pulling the ladder up after me. I got famous for being a dwarf in all my roles on Game of Thrones and Elf and he's an angry elf. And then this opens up for other dwarves who are less known because obviously you can't take Peter Dinklage and put him in a movie like that. He's too famous. He'd overshine all the rest of the cast of the dwarves. And now it's like, oh, okay, well, I guess we're not going to, I guess 6 dwarves, 7 dwarves, they don't get a job now.
By the way, I mean, I'm sure that the other dwarves are sick of playing leprechaun and elf every year.
Oh, that's what he was saying. Actually, he was like,
but they would rather work than have no work.
Yeah. That's why it's like
those are the parts coming in. If you're a dwarf, you're going to get roles that are.
Yeah, hey buddy, like you jumped on Tyrion pretty fucking fast.
Yeah,
you jumped on that pretty fast with dragons and stuff. But
yeah, there's no problem there. Like that's.
But
that's
it's interesting. You can't like, and I don't know. Like, I mean, you can, but like if a show had, I can't think of a show, and I guess it could be normal. Like I wouldn't care if the show was good, but like if a show had a person who was a Siamese twin, and it was not like, and it just wasn't. It was just casually like, you know,
like a real one.
Yeah. Well, you can't cast not a real one.
Well, they did that. There was no season of American Horror Story, right?
What was that movie with Matt Damon?
The one where he's on his knees. Gary Oldman was on his knees.
Attached.
Oh, I thought you were talking about when Gary Oldman is on his knees. That Matt McConaughey movie where he plays a little person. Gary Oldman, Tiptoes. You ever see that?
No.
I'm gonna blow your mind right now. There's a movie out there where Gary Oldman acts alongside Peter Dinklage. And Gary Oldman is on his knees with his shoes on his knees, playing a little person the whole movie. No, and that's a full movie that exists out there. So he went
full dwarf face.
Bro, it's Gary Oldman. He fucking killed it too.
Yeah, Gary.
I bet he acted so much better than Peter Dinklage. That Peter Dinklage was there, like, you son of a bitch.
Peter Dinklage looked 10 feet tall next to him. The way Gary Oldman.
That's when Disney flipped the switch.
Gary Oldman went down to his height and owned him. I bet it was just
what's the name of that movie?
Tippy Toes or Tiptoes.
That's
Tiptoes.
an awful name for the movie too.
No
That's terrible.
Shit.
Yeah.
It's about
got pull up the trailer, guys, and check it out if you're listening at home.
What?
Look at his arm. His arm is so long. Their arms are never that long.
His arm is so long.
His forehead's too little. That's not the shape of the head.
Yo, the arm is blowing.
Look at that.
The arm is blowing my mind. The length of his arms it's blowing my mind.
Because what's crazy is Gary's acting like his arms are short. So that's why he's got the jacket in, because he's acting like his arms are short also.
Yeah.
He's a creature.
What year is this? What year is this?
Yeah, a year where they really had to block it out immediately. Like it couldn't exist because everyone's careers were...
Holy shit.
Yeah,
he's got like puppet legs.
Yeah,
like
he's in a couch.
Like,
he's standing. No, he's standing in a couch right now, and those are fake legs popping out of it, and half his body's in the couch.
Tim Conway used to do that character Dwarf. Do you guys any of you remember that?
Dwarf, no.
His whole character was he was on his knees, and it was like, and they had put shoes on his knees basically, but it was a comedy sketch. It wasn't an actual.
Oh, this is a real movie. They were dead serious about it. Dead serious, and he's there acting the whole time.
I'm watching that 100%.
Of course, because you just have to watch every scene that Peter Dinklage is in it, and also very offended that he didn't get the lead. He's probably like, look at this, this is ridiculous. Peter Dinklage can say what he wants. He did that 15 years ago, and he's like, now I get to say something. Fuck Tiptoes.
Fuck Tiptoes.
I'm blown away that I've never seen that movie before.
Yeah,
never
they did
heard
a good
of
job.
That
Someone
before.
did their job really well at making sure we didn't.
Good job.
Yeah.
To find a movie Kyle hasn't heard of is unbelievable.
Did not know that existed.
Everything.
Well, it's not a good
Especially
one.
a movie
So.
like that.
With Gary Oldman, he's a real deal actor. Man,
Matthew
that's got to be
McConaughey,
discouraging
Peter
to
Dinklage.
like go out for a dwarf role as Peter Dinklage in 2003. I think that's like around the same time as Elf, maybe a bit after Elf, so he had some success, and be like, I'm the only dwarf here, and there's only 2 dwarf.
No,
roles.
worse. It was
Like,
all dwarfs.
This is great, and then you get beat out by a normal size guy with like fucking Adidas taped to his kneecaps.
It was all little people in that room looking at their scripts waiting to be called in, and then Gary Oldman walks in. He's like, sup, pussies?
Yeah.
You guys,
He's like,
you're not trying to
cookies.
audition me. You didn't see what I did with Dracula? You don't think I could be a little person?
Oh, but you know Gary Oldman. Gary Oldman went straight method acting. He walked into that audition on his knees.
I cut my fucking legs off. Tell me I won't. I'll get the surgery. I'll get shortened.
I'll get that reverse Chinese leg lengthening. I'll have my legs shortened.
Yeah.
That is, I can't wait to watch that. I'm gonna get so high.
You're
and
gonna have
watch
such a
that.
bad night. Love it.
You're
Love
gonna
that
have
for
such
you.
a bad night.
Look at this. That's a Patricia Arquette.
Hey, that's a real one.
He's a real dwarf. You can tell because I've seen him stand.
Patricia
And
Arquette
his
is
forehead.
proof that you.
This
Oh,
is
as a woman-
terrible. Oh my god.
Well,
This
that's
is
a bad
amazing.
shot.
By the way,
He's got.
Crazy.
and a
How does
legit
he riding a motorcycle?
He can't even
That's
reach
like-
the.
Kate Beckinsale's in that.
Yeah.
And
I mean, that's Patricia Arquette. Kate Beckinsale's only done movies that her husband
Imagine.
made.
Imagine you made this movie.
Everybody thinks of her as a movie star. It's because her husband made a whole bunch of movies and put her in it.
yeah.
Imagine you made this movie and you did all this, and it was like, and Gary Oldman was like, I'm gonna do the knee thing, and you're like, all right, yeah, it's Gary Oldman, sure. And then like you kind of knew it was a bad idea, but you're like, man, we got all these stars, like they're not gonna. The movies is gonna be, and the movie's dead on arrival. I think it's very funny